from them.
Unreal nade coming through from East, by the way. Takes down the entirety of Vengeance there, and Falcons stay alive with their 3 players. Wow, very, very nice play. Can it group up, flush out longs? Na'Vi continues to fight.
Both of these fights, one on the northwest, one on the southeast blank, they're both pivotal for the progress of this lobby, but Team Queso may have just ruined IWNRX's chances into this engagement on the south side as Na'Vi try to regroup against TJB. It's not looking super healthy, not looking super easy. There's the flush coming on through, and IWNRX playing on with 2 now, but it's just noise up the top. Team Queso across the way, Melodious trying to have an impact, but Getzo Roy trying to poke their noses in, but it does not belong there. The book snaps shut, Noise able to keep a hold of the position for just a moment longer.
Falcons even finding a shot over towards Tiamba. East has been a true hero during this game. IWNRX will get rid of that player who has been so annoying for so long for them, playing on that south side. Na'Vi moves up with Lemon. Flower in the front line, but a fantastic shot with the pump action will take down Flower, and Na'Vi might have just cleared out the most dangerous threat to them on this northwest.
Can they regroup though in time? Can they get rid of Triple S and get back on the road, back into their compound? Because the Falcons are moving into the vacuum, and they might have just gotten ahead of this. Na'Vi send out, but they've been cut off. Their resources now run dry. Their push back in towards the circle will be difficult, but they've got 4 players to do it. In the meantime, IWNRX, they've handled Team Queso, and now it's up to FaZe. Mela run down with a buggy on Swain, and the spray down from Kane. A 2-piece playing off one another. Symbiotic there, and a venomous approach from IWNRX.
Good start. I mean, Falcons again taking down players from Na'Vi. I think realistically for Na'Vi, what they should have done is just head further north. Again, it's whether or not you understand that Falcons have been making their way so fast up towards this location. Remember, Falcons have just been winning fights back to back to back here. So they've been just crushing the lobby on this south side. But Na'Vi do finally get themselves back into position. 6 elims for them. They get a reset on this too. It's still well played, but again, they are looking for a chicken dinner on this match. That's what Na'Vi want. And with Fury in the wings with 4 players alive, Falcons looking damn good in this game. Yeah, it's scary. They do have the compounds to work with, though.
Blank, our 4th, 5th, and 6th place teams, all looking for a 3rd place spot right now, are all still in this one. IWNRX with the worst of it right now on the southeast side, but they are ahead in terms of the points. If they can ladder up a couple of placements, that would be big news for them. If they can extract some value from maybe Furia's position out to their east side, that would be great. But you're right, it's Na'Vi and Falcons, both of these 2 teams with opportunity to push in, to muscle their way through and join the top 3 going into our last game of the day.
It's difficult for Na'Vi as well, because I think that they would have liked to maintain over towards that high ground. It was just a very good pickup from Falcons, understanding where Na'Vi moved across from, because they have essentially taken one of the stronger positions in the lobby. Although these compounds are nice, it would require the circle to head a bit towards that northwest side for them to continue to have presence, because Falcons can typically now just play that high ground, right? They can play off the back of that, take shots towards teams as they make their way in, and Na'Vi still have to deal with the player from Tiamba who is waiting in the sidelines here in back C.
Swain trying to get info, but he's out with his back to the blue.
Because Falcons can typically now just play that high ground.
Moving forwards is difficult. Furia have control over their north. Falcons force over their west. You can see action. I mean, he knows there's players over here. He's going to launch the last nade in his pocket there, potentially. XC. For Tiamba in the meantime on the northwest side, spotted by Na'Vi, pushed out the back of the building. Top may be able to pick this one off. Certainly we'll see Puncher go for the cross and jump back on in as well. XC looking for some healing before he makes a move, and rightly so. Everybody knows where this guy is right now, and there is no way that he stays healthy. Opens the door to allow him to use the corner of that wall a little bit more effectively, but I wonder how long it's going to last. Furia, keep IWNRX at bay.
Yeah, he knows he's sort of doomed here. Does throw a quick nade out, punches fast on the trigger, will pick up the Elim as well, very nice, and now can regroup with the rest of the team. Now that play has been removed, Na'Vi can focus a little bit more towards their end game goals now, as they control the majority of the northern side. Furia getting stuck in with IWNRX, who are likely going to be taking a 4th place home here as Kine tries to get in the vehicle for some fancy movement, but it's Na'Vi actually finding top and some shots coming over the top sides from Falcon towards Furia. So all hell breaks loose on this top side, and Na'Vi might have just found the opening that they were desperate for.
They were looking the cleanest of all of it, but there's a response. East finds Lemon on the approach. Puncher and Six now trying to break out wide. A 1-2 punch to maybe come on through against the Falcons team. 2 players alive for each of these 2 rosters, but Furia get back up to 3 blank.
Ooh.
East goes low, but the nade doesn't fully connect. Puncher with the spray through the smoke doesn't connect either, but spots him.
No.
Loses Lemon in the meantime, though, and now it's just 2 for Na'Vi. Furia stand in their way with 3 players out on the west side, and there is a lone Falcon. Action in the middle of it all.
Oh, that's frustrating, man. I mean, if they were able to keep Lemon up, and Lemon did a great job to kind of juke around and create opportunity. Smoke went down, though, which was so painful for Puncher to try and find that shot. So it is now Six and Puncher left up and remaining, which is 2 players that I would say are on the weaker end to both Lemon and Flip. But with Puncher, with Six going down, Puncher forced back and trying to get this res. Zone 9 is pushing in. I don't even think it's possible at this point. Still 9 elims and a 2nd place is not horrible.
They do not have long on
Oh,
this.
Falcon's still alive, though.
Yeah, Falcon's still having action in this is really, really important. Furia moving in with 3, though. I feel like Action may not be able to do too much, but maybe he opens the door for Na'Vi. The first shot goes in. Action's still alive. He's still giving them the slip, but takes 1 down.
They have to go
a little
now.
bit of damage. Na'Vi need to come in now. They need to come in strong. A nade over the top. What have you got? Six is cooking. Silence is low. They can't go for this res. A lot of damage, and Kayovsky goes down next. Na'Vi looking to put the 11th, the 12th, and or maybe the 13th nade through on in, and the eliminations can come in thick and fast if they can find this last knock. That's what they're looking for. The spray, the nade, and it's Na'Vi to take the chicken dinner with some hard north shifts. They make it work, and a miracle to put them back in the top 3.
I mean, you've got to thank Top for that one at the end of this one, or at least Falcons in general. The fact they were able to control that side for so long and then getting a knock as well. It is really quick reactions from Na'Vi and some very well-placed nades on the top of it. But 11 elims at the end of the game. Really good stuff for them, and they'll be super happy with that one. 21 points. That sees them happily up into a top 3. The fact they were able to control that side for so long and getting a knock as well.
Well, Na'Vi getting bailed out a little bit, I'll say there. Six gets knocked inside the compound, inside a little bit of a building. Go back for the res onto him, but Action, as he's being chased down in Mad Max style, gets 1 knock and a butt ton of damage onto Furia, which inevitably causes Furia to lose that match. But credit to Na'Vi to capitalize off of that moment as well, not to mention the perfectly placed grenades here. Max, man, I know you're happy for this.
Oh, this is a good game. I mean, I'm happy with how Na'Vi played it. I can already see the comments coming through, like people said, oh, they were gifted the circle. Man, sure, they were gifted some circles here, but they were using it to its full damn potential, I'll tell you that much. Like, sure, Falcon helps out Na'Vi in the end there, taking care of a few of the players of Furia, and then they just get the 2 angles behind the ridge after they got the res. Na'Vi played it great, but especially the reason why they got here in the first place, Jukes, and this is the big highlight of this game, in my opinion, it had to be that push against TJB.
Oh my gosh, that push against TJB was ridiculous. And I'm telling you what, Na'Vi, you said it best. I mean, Na'Vi played this circle to perfection. Puncher, 5 eliminations, Lemon with 4. These guys went absolutely nuts. But at the same time, you can't shy away from the fact that Furia got another good performance. I'd say that they had to win almost every single game if they wanted to be in that fight, and that's exactly what they've done so far.
How many second place finishes have they had?
Right?
It feels like quite a bit, but definitely being consistent and getting into those top placings. But obviously Furia, to get to that position in the game, they had to rotate in towards that east side of the compound that Na'Vi were at. And Max, we were discussing that at the time before Furia actually made that move, saying that like Na'Vi, they're gonna have to regroup here. In case someone did push on, I believe that was 6's position.
Yeah, I believe it was a 6 over to the east side, and that's the thing about Na'Vi. They were aggressive at the right time versus Dong Jabao, and they were also passive in fights that really didn't make too much sense and wasn't going to really add too much to their current position. Which, yeah, we just don't want to fight that wide rotation of Furia. We can just coexist like a symbiote in that compound, and just survive into the late game, have an easy access to a podium finish, and then we'll have to fight later on down the line. So it was, again, a perfect mix of being aggressive, being respectful at the right time, and the timing was on point for Na'Vi. But Furia, I'm telling you, man, they have stepped up big time here. They are gunning for top 11 placing. Sure, they can maybe get a few more eliminations, but they are taking fights that make sense right now. So Furia, they know what they have to do, Hot Jukes, to make up there, and currently the game plan is successful.
Yeah, man, I mean, they had to play this one from the east side towards the end of the game. They were right next to Get Roy, IW, and RX, but they just pushed their way in little by little after that big circle shift onto Na'Vi, and they played it so well. So I'm really excited to see, you know, how they finish off today. And man, dude, at the end of the day too, TJB still, I mean, the performance they've had today, you got to give them just so much hype, right? So the fact that they're able to put anything on the board is still a success in my opinion. You got one more game left to go, and I have a feeling it's going to be a big one, Jason.
Well, think back to what Seven said in his post interview he had with Furia, and he was saying like they realized they have to kind of change their mindset and change the way they're approaching the game, and it seems like all that has been paying off here. They only get 4 eliminations, but they get themselves the 10 points, and the 10 might be enough to push them ever so close to that top 11. But also Falcons, we didn't really touch on them too much, guys. I feel like the timings, the windows they hit were pretty damn spot on.
And that Falcons position was tough. They were having one of those silos right there on the south side. They had they kept likes of Vengeance, and once they got that silo position, they had that hill, they had that sight lines to try and third party the likes of Na'Vi, Tianba, and put some good points on the board. So I mean, yeah, when it comes to Falcons, you got to be happy with 13 points here.
Oh, very happy, but they didn't just get rid of Vengeance. They dropped a nuke on Vengeance. That was a grenade from East. It was insane how good that nade actually ended up being there. It was so clutch, clearing the entire Vengeance, allowing Falcons to remain as almost a full squad. And then it was down to timing. Again, I think timing was very important, was of the essence for a lot of the teams like Falcons, like Na'Vi, like Furia, because they hear the fight of Tong Jabal versus Na'Vi Northeast, near the warehouse, near the compound, sorry. And they use that as an opportunity to cross the road, which at that point is so deadly. If you make that cross without any smokes, without any cast, teams are going to see you and they're going to spray you down almost instantly. But that timing is perfect. They make it to the ridge, they clear a few solos that are just straggling about, and then they can truly get involved in that conversation for a chicken dinner contender. So Falcons, sure, it was a bit more silent in the early stages, but the timing was exactly what it needed to be at that point.
And obviously with the way the zones played out too, it's definitely rough for any of those teams coming from the south who just got heavily condensed in towards each other, especially in zone 2 when it shifted more northeast. We can see here Puncher could be the MVP of this match. And it's nice to see that, you know, anyone on Na'Vi could be the MVP at the end of the day. That's what we always say when it comes to PUBG Mobile these days. You have to have a team of 4 fraggers if you want to be one of the best teams in the world, and we're at the best event in the world, so it's time for you to step up.
Everyone must shoot good. Yes, I agree. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Puncher, 5 eliminations. This was one of my teams to watch. You know, I had Na'Vi on there because they had just dropped out of top 3. A win here is definitely going to put them in that run, and yes sir, all the way up to 2nd place with a little bit of room to breathe, Max.
Yeah, TGB are like, oh man, I'm so happy I got 4 chicken dinners. Na'Vi are like, wait, you guys got 4? We only had 3. IW and RX are saying, you guys getting chicken dinners?
What? Chicken dinners?
What? You guys, what even is that? I don't know what it is. It's a mythical creature of ancient times. No, it's still not getting any of it. But I8 slipping down a little bit, same for Nigma Galaxy, because, I mean, to be completely fair, TJB, Na'Vi are just the point sponges of today, it feels like, especially TJB. These guys have been an absolute menace, and the teams that were normally getting consistent points like I8 and Nigma are just not really getting that same type of result. But it's still really close. I mean, when you're looking at the point gap between those teams in 4th, 5th, 6th position, they can all push it up there. As we head on down, we've seen a lot of squads jumping up in top 11, Jukes, and Ultrigo, Incilio going even deeper down the rankings.
Yeah, but guess who's going up, right? It's Furia. They move up to 14th place, passing up Virtus Pro for the first time here, and with a nice amount of points as well. But they still have a little gap here that they got to cross, so they're not out of the woods yet. And you know, speaking of in the woods, Max, I mean, we're definitely getting towards the last stretch here, right? We got one more day left, and I'm looking at the rankings. there are a couple teams that are actually quite a few squads, right, that really need to pop off on this one. And one of them, I'm going to say, is Falcons, right? Falcons put some good points on the board on this game. They got to be happy with it, but they're going to need more if they want to feel comfortable going into tomorrow, because right now they have, what is it, not a very large gap at all. Yeah, like, what is it, 8 points? So that shouldn't be too difficult to get here, but with how crazy these games are, like we're seeing Navi pulled up a crazy chicken dinner. I mean, IWNRX, I mean, it's got to come today, or at least some point in this tournament, right? You don't want to give them that opportunity. So if Falcons want to be in top 3, they need a good game here, at least in my opinion.
They have that potential, but when I'm looking at Falcons, and I mean, we've been covering this team for years and years now, they still don't feel like that Falcons of old. They still don't feel like that old stalwart esport, just completely dominating every single lobby, if it was global, if it was local. I have not yet seen that Falcons for a big portion of this year. Of course, PMSL was going pretty decent for them. They still had some up and down performances, but it's still not looking like the big matches that we would expect to see from Falcons. The timing, the rotates are good, but the fragging potential doesn't seem as good as it once used to be. So they're in reach, Jukes, as you said. They can make it up there, but we still need to be getting a few more results, because right now that sponge at the top is not giving any points to those middling teams.
You know what? I'm actually going to disagree with you, bro.
And
the reason why I am is because I think that we are seeing the Falcons of old. I really do. I think we're seeing what they did before. The problem is everybody else has just gotten that much better. You know what I'm saying? Because they're being decently consistent. They're not far off from the top 3. But what are you going to do when you have TJB win 2 chicken dinners in a row and average almost 10 eliminations a game this entire day? I mean, that is so difficult to deal with no matter who you are. So it's like, yeah, you're doing solid, but in order to become the champions these days, I mean, solid isn't enough. You have to do something special, right, Jason?
Yeah,
It's putting the blame on TJB for being too good, it feels like.
I
feel like you shouldn't really be able to win. Okay, let me try to like work out my thoughts here. You shouldn't be able to get top 3 in a group at this level of play without doing something special. Like, I feel like just solid play, it should not be enough to get you into the grand finals directly, or to get you the title of the best team in the world at PMGC. I feel like Falcons have shown us during CSA that they do have that potential, but it seems like it's very difficult for them to tap into that potential. And I feel like those big explosive matches we saw when they were under the name of Stalwart just aren't really happening anymore, which I think where Max's Core are kind of, referring to. They haven't been able to dominate the lobby like we've seen in the past, partly due to the fact that the lobby is just a lot stronger in general.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to
and
say.
it's gonna be very difficult for them to kind of separate themselves from the rest when it comes to the pack. But obviously they have every opportunity. They're still in reach. In the meantime, we got to head down to 7 yet again here for a quick little chat.
Forward with the 7WG. This time is going to be in regards to TJB. This team has played insanely today, being able to get 63 points so far, and we still have one more match to go. I got a chance to talk to their coach. Their coach told me that they have been getting lucky with the circles, and they also been making the right decisions, whether it's going to high ground or whatever the case might be. They've been lucky with the circles and getting those right decisions. Will they stay at the top of first place? Stay tuned and find out.
That is the question. Can they maintain their #1 position going into tomorrow with one final match left to go? Every team is still trying to get into top 3 and, more importantly, solidify their spaces. We do have a little bit of a lead growing in our leaderboards. I talked about the start of the day. We had like a 20-point lead between, what was it, like 6th or 15th and 14th.
Yeah.
And then at the top, it wasn't that big of a lead. It was like 11 points between like 3rd and 8th. Well, now we do have a little bit of a gap, looking more towards like 6th to 7th place at 117 to 94. We're definitely starting to see, I think, from the end of this match, which teams realistically will have a chance to break through into top 3. Because right now, like Vengeance, 85 points. They're like 40 points out. I don't think realistically we're going to see them get Roy either. Currently sitting at 94 points. I don't think they have a chance. I think for me, the cutoff is going to be Falcons and above of who can legitimately contest the top 3 places.
We definitely have a pack that's starting to lead the charge into the top 3 position. TJB, Navi are looking super good, but really IWNRX, we've seen them jump in and out. Even Navi, realistically, have been jumping in and out of this top 3. So I have to agree, Jason. I think it's between those top 6 teams to make into top 3. And it's going to be down to the wire. I'm telling you, that last game, Hot Drukes, is going to be absolute madness on Miramar heading into tomorrow. So who's going to make it? I'm not sure. We got some that we expect to remain in top 3, but realistically, the top 3 could be completely different tomorrow. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not too shocked.
Yeah, I mean, for real. I mean, if Falcons get the chicken dinner here, we could see them easily in that running. You know, Vengeance, like you mentioned, Jason, I don't see it happening because, like, in order to be the top 3 these days, yeah, you have to be consistent, you know, on pretty much every single map, but you also have to have that crazy pop-off potential to get those like 15+ elimination chicken dinners. And I just, at this stage, with how intense it is, I just don't see that yet from Vengeance. You know, I do see the possibility from Ghetto Roy. I think that they could do it, but it's just unlikely with how everybody else is playing right now.
Well, I had to like go triple, quadruple check before I made this statement because I really didn't want to look dumb because I do that more than enough on my own.
True.
When we looked at Ultra Ego earlier on the camera, Rosemary is back in the roster. And I'm checking on our map feed right now, and I'm like, he for sure is in the game. So Rosemary, who said he's going to sit out because he doesn't feel like he's playing too good or too well today, has come back in for the final match of this 3rd day.
Let's go. Quick break, you know what I'm saying? Quick break.
Coffee break's over.
You know, just say, let me shake it all off and let me get it done, baby, because we got one more game left to go. Let's get it going, Jason.
Well, let's see if he did T-Swift it and shook it off. We're going to head back to our casters here for the final match of day 3 of Grup Red with John Allen and Blake.
I mean, they said that they were never, ever getting back together at the end of today, but goodness me, Rosemary, he's straight back in there, ready to set a fiery brand underneath the alter ego Rosto and Seer. See if they can get their last slice of the pie here in the last map today.
It's not working with Rosemary. Let's take Rosemary out. It's working a lot worse without Rosemary. It's time to get Rosemary back in.
Rosemary's such a good player. I love that guy.
Yeah, I think it does require you to remove a key component from the team before you realize that maybe it was a component that was required to keep the engine running. I do think Rosemary's a great player. I think it's absolutely fair that he has some bad games. I understand his decision, willingness to drop himself back out again to give like a mental refresh, but yeah, the rest of the team needs to step up alongside him because I think there is a lot of pressure on Rosemary right now to perform at a super high level. He's a very, very good player. And it's somewhat similar to the FaZe situation with Mello right now.
It is a little bit unfortunate, you know, to see teams struggling to really find that identity that they've had in their previous regions, in their previous tournaments as well. And again, it comes back to the power of the overall strength of this lobby. It's really, really difficult to handle, and the pressure seems to be getting to some of our players. Southwest shift, though, and maybe Alter Ego could do something with this. Tong Diabao as well, and Chumacera, potential for them to get up into the hills, or maybe play to the northeast side.
Yeah, I like Tong Jiba though. Like, what was the team last group stage doing? Oh, playing Chumacera. See, let's do that. We could probably take first place as well from that same position. So Tong Jiba, play in Chumacera, not a bad spot. I always think it's a little bit stifling at times when you get a circle like this though, because with a lot of teams going through this area, a lot of times you are forced to play down towards that south side and take control of the foothills in Chumacera quite early on. But you got plenty of time to loot up here. I think a lot of our teams over towards that north side will allow that to happen. Na'Vi back up into second. Very well done to them, with the Falcons attempting to make their catch up now with 117 points. And IWRX do claim that third place spot, but again, ASIA really not far behind. And this is a really nice spread of eliminations coming through for Na'Vi, with 6 actually pulling out ahead from the rest of the squad with 23, but it's a 5 elim differential between the best player in the squad down towards Puncher, who is the one with the least amount of eliminations. So again, I think that this is what you need, and right now I think Na'Vi's got one of the best rosters that they could have hoped for on their team.
Absolutely, they have really come in storming to this group, and it's great to see that now again back in the contest for that first place spot, with TJB not getting as many points as they could have done in that last match, and Na'Vi actually taking that chicken dinner so that they can keep up pace. Na'Vi though up in the Cabrera, they came in late to the previous time around on Miramar. Let's see if they can repeat their success from coming in towards the edge of this one too. Again, back in the contest for that first place spot, with TJB not getting as many points as they could have done in that last.
So for Vengeance, I'm actually quite interested in Vengeance because they have stayed pretty consistent now towards an 8th place. I think after that win they were able to pick up, it really lifted their spirits in a big way. Again, their team fight, I am still willing to say that I don't think it's there with the best of the lobby right now. But I think Vengeance has definitely done a bit of a 180 since their first day of play, where it really didn't feel like it felt like they were going to be one of the teams in 15th and 16th, but they've turned it around. I'm really happy to see it for Vengeance. I would like to see a couple more points coming out from them, because again, on that last game, there was a huge potential for them to take out the entirety of Falcons, and it would have been a very, very different game from there onwards. But just going down to one unfortunate grenade, it's a rough feeling. That car is drunk. I'm really happy to see it for Vengeance.
Yeah?
I would like to see a couple more points coming
needs
out.
a little bit of a lie down, a coffee.
Yeah.
Get back into it, you know. Make sure that you're fit as a fiddle. In Torres, oh dear, he's maybe going to be a bit dizzy in a second, but does manage to survive the initial roll-up against two Team Queso players. The rest of FaZe could maybe come on in. Has got the auto-shotty around the corner. But Team Queso now have more players to worry about. The rest of FaZe are descending on this. A nade, a beautiful nade, actually, over towards Mela. That's going to slow them down, but FaZe come in with two more onto the outside, and the reload needs to come through. That allows the rest of FaZe to come through. And there's the sideswipe, the re-emergence of the player who made that initial dash. Ventores swells in to protect Mela, and it's all up to them. A 4 versus 3 now as FaZe go up to the top floor, but there's ground floor threats as well. Noise to another nade as Kolego finds so much more than he was looking for there with that one. And a drop down, the spin is huge coming through, and Team Queso see FaZe in their sights. The roll-up not going to be healthy for them, maybe losing one. Protecting the rest of the team was the name of the game for FaZe, but they may have just thrown them all away.
I mean, Mormon, last remaining, 2 players on the outside. Difficult fight for them going forward. S12K in the hands, going to try and make something happen alongside with this good first knock. Now just has to close it out.
One more chance, and there's the shot on the crossfire, and Mormon finds 1, 2, and a third as well, but all his teammates fall. FaZe finding 4 eliminations, 3 going over to Team Queso, but both of them fall, and at a crucial point blank, look at those points tables. Vengeance, Tianpa, Alter Ego, Incilia, all of them poised to jump up. One more chance,
And that will keep Team Queso down. I'd keep FaZe slightly ahead. I really don't know how much further they can make into this game, but with Mormon having a fairly central position anyway. Man, that shot through the doorway, though, was such a nice fadeaway. Again, a lot of pressure on Mormon's shoulders there, but he steps up to the plate, up to the door, and he will take them all down. Very, very well done to Mormon.
Talk about Mela, right? But that was definitely a show of strength from Mormon. Another point on the FaZe star, but they need to rise higher to fully commit to getting into those survival stages at this point. A good start, sure, but they're only one player, and it's not too likely that they can get a huge amount more value out of this game. However, they are very central on the circle. Other teams are going to move into this ground, though, and I think that's where it's going to get dangerous. So 4 points may be enough to just about keep them in these top 11. Getting into those survival stages at this point. A good start, sure, but they're only one player.
Alter Ego down towards that south side now. One of the teams that we were talking about with Tiamba and Vengeance, the 2 teams that they need to rise above, including FaZe as well. This is a bit of a last hurrah for them on the day. Definitely doable from the south side. Okay. Okay.
He's in.
How did he do that?
He's just a magic man. Demo's got those magic driving gloves, you know.
What, in the sense you teleport your vehicle around?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's cute.
That's how that works.
Yeah. Vengeance now making their way in down towards the south side. Nice bit of high ground to play around with. Always do like this position. It has some slight lips around the side of this compound, though, which means you do have to get pretty far out to get any kind of good scouting done. But at this early stage of the game, just heading into stage 2, I think a team like Vengeance is not going to be bothered too much by having to take a little peek here and there.
They've got a lot of control for their spot. They can bide their time. Circle coming on in soon, nearly about to reveal our second shift here on Miramar, and our last Miramar shift of the day. For day 3 here. Grup Red, 10 seconds until we see where we're going to go. Na'Vi very slow on their approach here. Same for Virtus Pro. All the way up on the north side for Na'Vi, the east side over by Impala for Virtus Pro. The circle goes between Chumacera and Los Leones on top of Tiamba's position. Gets a Roy in the middle of it. IWNRX as well.
Yeah, we do shift that. I actually think most teams will be pretty pleased about this as well, John, considering moves away from those foothills in Chumacera.
Oh, no.
Which are always pretty awkward to play around with. Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. He's going to leave his boy behind. Yeah, come on. You got to give him the turtle treatment. Come on.
And the spin around and the bump up. That was excellently timed. That's like, that's brilliant. Can we get a clip of that? I'd love a replay on that one. That was fantastic. IWNRX, they lose probably about 10 seconds on their rotate there, which in this sort of a stage could be pretty pivotal, but fortunately for them, no one really rotating into the same spot that they were, so they're in front of the queue. Am I getting a replay of this, really? Oh, no, okay. It's the actually good play coming through from Mormon. Oh, it's a 1v4.
I mean, he took down the majority of the team, right? But it was with the two last elims. Those were all him. Those were all him. But he did have the assist from the rest of the squad, though, on the first couple. There he goes. There goes our hero. And he will be out the lobby.
That's quite a sad way to end that game for FaZe. Both them and Team Queso go down with 4 and 3 points. FaZe are 1 point ahead, and remember how important 1 point can be, especially how close these tables are. It might be the difference maker. Top threading the needle over towards Car, but Getso Roy should be able to get that res fairly swiftly and in a central position. You'd imagine that they definitely want to maintain that strength. They currently sit in the compound that's on the northwest, on the north point of the junction between Picardo, Los Leones, and Chumacera. So able to keep a lot of ground under their control. Further north, the Falcons sit, and they'll be pretty happy with their spot too.
Tiamba actually make a break for a fairly decent position in the circle towards the central side of things, with Getso Roy once again making a nice little pivot over towards this ridge side. And you can't really fault Getso Roy's rotations, honestly. 94 points in there. Seeing themselves, I would say, on top of this pack, beneath them, who are all vying to stay outside of the bottom 5, because it is really close, to be honest. Yeah, Getso Roy, not quite as good as our top 6, not quite as bad as our bottom 8. So yeah, it's kind of a funny position to be in for Getso Roy.
I mean, it's a nice, safe position, and I mean, they're rotating into the late game of the tournament, right? And just sort of being there fairly consistently, which is kind of exactly what we're seeing from them repeatedly. And it's working out, so fantastic stuff. Hopefully, it will see them safe through the survival stage, if not a little bit further. I mean, this is a game that maybe they could do something with, but with TJB on the high ground just to their south, it's going to be difficult to move unimpeded. But the shift goes up for Tianba a little bit on that east side, closer to Los Leones.
It's quite amusing that in our interview earlier, we had a little laugh and joke about Na'Vi in terms of Seven asking about how Miramar was going to go. It was like, well, we had some bad circles. They weren't great. Once again today, the circles have been pretty far away from Na'Vi. They're like, yeah, we want 20 points, 10 points per game, 7S. No, we want 2 chicken dinners. Well, John, they've succeeded in the first category, which is to win the first Miramar. Now they're looking for the second. And honestly, they are one of 2 teams on the northern side of the circle. They already find themselves a knockover towards the Falcons. Do they just come out swinging on Miramar?
I don't know, man. I mean, you know, best performance on Erangel. What about Desert now? It's Desert time for Na'Vi, potentially on the north side. They haven't fully committed to that crash. It was just an open and knock towards Falcons, and they haven't fully sent for that. They're going to go a little bit further east. In the meantime, Vengeance on their position have IHC to deal with, leaving from Chumacera, moving up to this angle, and Noise goes down first. TP, nade over. Ooh, just a little bit short of the ridge line there. Could have been nasty for Godless, but a response comes in from Ziol, takes half his HP bar away. Godless has one cooking too. The Vengeance fall back.
Yeah, after already receiving a knock, it's a bit awkward. Yamak on the sidelines, typically a really good off-angler. Nice first nade, actually hits over towards Godless, and Ziol is up front in the distance. This is IHC, who right now seem to be only playing with the 2, with Ziol and Godless. Both Demog as well as Rogue haven't quite moved into position just yet.
So you're looking for the res onto Godless on the ridgeline there after the nade came through. They might have burnt through a lot of their nade supplies here, and I'm willing to go for more. You can see still 2 for Yamak. No, TPs has a little present to launch over the top, but the off angles are starting to come through. You said they left them back, and maybe they did that on purpose to create these off angles through those windows, force Vengeance to take peeks through these windows that they have sightline control of, and that seems to be the game plan for IHC. But right now, Vengeance are having a pretty good time rebuffing them. They found that knock onto Godless. They haven't really given too many sightlines away, and likely they're going to have to leave. I think they're just going to go for it now.
Yeah, you can sort of see the difference in between our top teams as well as Vengeance here, especially in nade usage, because the first nade goes out, does a fair bit of damage, but then you can't just throw the nade in the same spot. You have to have a predict the left or the right there, depending on the audio cues. So they don't really find too much off the back of it. And again, they've done a lot of damage. There's a potential another knock on side. Now, with Vengeance losing a player without being able to rotate too far away from this position, IHC can gain more ground on this. And this will just be full-on war between Vengeance and IHC.
It's a north side of the road finish by the looks of things, which gives teams like Na'Vi, Furia a much better prospect into this one, as IHC continue to try to move past Vengeance, seemingly successfully. Two players now stand in their way. It is unfortunate. Alter Ego clashing with ASIA on the south side in the meantime. And then Cilio got a third party as well from the off angle down on the south side engagement. ASIA on the far side of it means that Alter Ego bearing the brunt of this fight.
Good shots on the sidelines, you can see there. It has just been a full swap around between IHC and Vengeance, now having to play on the edge of this compound. Moving over towards D-Move though. They can find him. That is the off angle taken down, but he's immediate on the retreat. No point sticking around for too much longer there.
Demo needs to hold this angle behind the ridgeline, but the wraparound comes through, has the backup now, and Noise really can't do too much here. You can't peek into two. They know that they've isolated this fight on this angle. However, one is good. Noise looks for a second as well. Popping up, popping down. Two players fall to the DBS. Is there backup? There's a third, and Noise is doing so much work against IHC here, all on his lonesome. There's an off angle, sure, but he's already gone. He's already sent away, trying to crunch on in, and now it's just Godless. Moving on in, it's Noise to try and make it work for them. They're both into the same position. It's a 2v1. It's turned topsy-turvy here, Blank. And IHC might have had the last game of their day ruined.
This could be a great nade from Godless, depending on how he throws it. I mean, the time is limited, though, as this Molotov does stop. Now they can't isolate that angle on the nade towards the sidelines. I think he's just running away to get away from the off angle. So sad there for Godless. I think that could have been a really big nade, but what a way to lose that fight for IHC. In the meantime, ASIA clean up onto Alter Ego, but in comes Enigma Galaxy. A high Molotov comes through from Snowick, who is leading the charge for the team.
Pushes them back off that ridgeline. They know there's no close contact now in that smoke. Nuki already crawling back. UZM low. Narvalo going to make him even more vulnerable with the nade approach. There goes IHC in the meantime, by the way. That was held down, and TPs finds that final shot. UZM does fall, and now ASIA faltering in the face of Enigma Galaxy. That third place spot looks really tasty. The Galaxy want to put another EMEA team up in there.
Yeah, 3 points already. Very nice stuff. Clearing out the south side fairly handedly as well. That's a lot of our southeast teams just gone. Leaving Enigma Galaxy, ASIA's final player in Falak, who is certainly not a player to be trifled with, even as a solo, but it's Tongju out off towards that northwest side that I think Enigma Galaxy has to be very aware of going forward. Clearing out the south side fairly handedly as well. That's a lot
that western edge, although with the road as it sits, it's likely that it's going to be moving up to the north side of the road for the final circles, which means that TJB, whilst they have that high ground right now, they have a really strong oversight under the compounds that Getso Roy, that Tiamba hold right now. They are going to have to leave it, most likely. And it's a question of what information can they gather, what paths can they establish for their next rotate route.
Next circle. Where's it go? Nice and central, supports Getso Roy, or over towards Tiamba. Actually moves far over towards that eastern side. So Furia, Falcons actually pick up a really nice compound, which has beautiful sightlines all around it. It is a little small in terms of a compound, but it's difficult to crash upon because so many teams have sightlines over towards that area, which means that Na'Vi is likely going to have to play on this northwest edge for a little while longer and wait for some of these teams on that south side that who do have that oversight to be forced to move out. But they're already picking up eliminations. They've got one. I think they found one of the players from IHC, one of the players that was knocked beforehand. Falak.
Uh-oh. Tilts the buggy up, gives them the underbelly, and eats some bullets with the buggy. But Malloy nails the headshot through the ribs of the buggy, and it will take down the last player from ASI8. So third place is locked in at 125 points blank. IWNRX, because of the lack of chicken dinners, currently losing the tiebreaker. But on the south side of the road, it's likely that they get a little bit further into this one, staying alive for just the time being in the buildings they hold. Enigma Galaxy may look to crash it. TJB may also, but again, you're just going to have to go beyond that road on the next rotate. So third place is locked in at 125 points blank.
Yeah, I hate this Tong Jibao and Enigma Galaxy. What a horrid position to be in. I think if you are Tong Jibao, you're more considering making this northwest wrap to try and potentially get some shots down and make a quick crash over towards Getso Roy. Enigma Galaxy, though, they find the back line as Tong Jibao gets stuck into a fight with Vengeance on the west side, so they really can't help their other player here, and Tong Jibao should lose at least one on this eastern edge.
Yeah, Long's going down. They're playing on as 3. Tong Jibao trying to get on through, but it's just not working out. IWNRX spot Enigma Galaxy. That's Ralph. They are going to find that flush. Point going over to IWNRX does tip them over the top, and you can see immediately ASA8 down in 5th from third place, and under a minute. TJV looking to push on past towards Enigma Galaxy. The blue zone's putting pressure on it. It's a stage 5 circle, which means it hurts, but it doesn't hurt quite as much as SnowX with the DBS, but there's a response, and 676 with the pump action now spots both of the Enigma Galaxy players on the backline as Stunner goes on through the smoke to try and slow things down, allow a little bit of a response from TJB, but down on the backlines, Redox tries to rain a hail of bullets in, and in goes the melee combat, but 676 is ready for it. The pump action shotgun burst out wide, and Redox with another one with the DBS. A 1v1 now, a 676 on the pump action. Low ammo count for the DBS, has to swap to the M4, both of those spray downs. Instead of having that close range one-shot potential, luckily already damage done to 676, but he's looking to heal, getting out around it as well with the pump action once more. Redox needs to connect the spray, but it's not good, and 676 takes down Enigma Galaxy.
676 just cold as ice, man. It's actually brutal to go up against him, and Enigma Galaxy gets hit by a load of frostbite and is chopped off by the blue. I don't know, man. 676 quickly becoming my favorite player here on Tong Jibao, which is surprising considering they're fielding Flower. But yeah, honestly, the clutch potential. Also, the fact that this guy's shotgun of choice is the pump shotgun is very interesting.
It's clean. I like it. No messing. I mean, you only just peek out, go for the one shot, you tuck back in. It has a really high damage count. Its range is pretty decent as well.
Honestly, the clutch potential.
It's a lot more adaptable in very specific, well, in pretty specific situations, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it. We saw it a little bit back in EMEA as well, a couple of times, but
I mean, they'd rather have a DBS.
Fullest potential. Yeah, I think a lot of the time, yeah, you could just put more volume down.
But it seems like 676, like he will forgo a DBS for a pump shotgun. That's what he likes to play with. I'd be curious because I think I need to read up on the PEL patch notes, because I wonder if it's a case that that weapon is just stronger in PEL. But it seems like 676, like he will forgo.
For now, though, as a solo and out in the cold on the south side, he goes down to the play zone. So first place locked in at the end of the day as well. Going down in 9th, I think that's a placement point earned, if I'm not mistaken. TJB will be up to, what is that, 6 points on the game? Coming up to 133, 143 rather, at the end of day 3. Na'Vi with a pretty decent opportunity to rack up the points for it, but not if they go down against the shots from Falcons, actually third party in their engagement with Virtus Pro.
Ooh, that is horrid to work with. 6 is down the back lines. I actually really wanted to see the Na'Vi back-to-back here on Miramar just for storyline's sake, but that nade should be the end of it for him. Flip's forced to heal, and now it's just Puncher left remaining. Tixie on the side. He's doing a decent job to keep himself alive there, but yep, Na'Vi is now finished. Could have definitely been better. I don't think Na'Vi's too unhappy with how they finished today.
Big crash on the south side, and IWNRX have gone down as well. They tried to get across the road towards Tianba and just couldn't find an opening blank. They all went down, melted at the feet of Tianba. Furia find the same angle that Virtus.pro found on towards Na'Vi as well. And with 4 players alive, it's just similarly almost impossible to research from this. Virtus.pro should be going down here. They tried to get across the road.
Furia need over towards the top. Yeah, Virtus.pro in a difficult situation. They essentially find themselves in the exact same spot that Na'Vi did, as Furia makes their way over the top side and will take down Virtus.pro instead. I think that's one of your... It's not a mistake that you want to make too often, but when you see those death threats, you want to take them, but it's easy for a team to rock up behind you and take the exact same positioning that you just dominated another team with. So yeah, good play from Furia to get over towards this spot nice and early. And now we're looking over towards Falcons. 117 points. Not a huge amount of eliminations, but they could see themselves into a nice position for tomorrow. Even if they get 130 points on this game, that still sits them ahead of IWNRX in 3rd place. To get over towards this spot nice and early. And now we're looking over towards Falcons.
Teams in this circle. Falcons really in a the most pivotal point on these tables, right? That is what they're looking for, the jump on up. Tianba wanted to secure a spot, so against Roy, they just want to maintain consistency. They've already had a pretty decent game. The question is, how far up those tables can you get based on these positions? Tianba holding off a crash, have 5 eliminations. Looks like they might have to hold another. Skepta Roy go for the roll-up. One goes down immediately. Duque can't quite get up to the wall. He falls short onto the tree, stuck on the branches there and taken down. That's actually Falcons with a third-party angle, isolating the fight to the south side of this compound. But 2 players from Tianba go down. A really nice off-angle found, and the Molotov to force this fight. A third goes out, and it's all up to Zunda. He's in a 1 versus 1 now against Shan, who breaks out, hops over the wall. The first aid cancelled, and will be timely to do so. Tianba may be able to get the full reset.
Yeah, serious grimace on that fight for Tianba. I think that they really thought they might have been going down to Zunda all on his lonesome. Ridiculous set of sprays coming through from the UMP, silencing Tianba's push out from the building. Yeah, very, very well played. Looked terribly scary. And for Tianba, it is really important for them to get a good game off the back of this one, especially right at the end of the day. Those are the type of things you like to see. And they can move up a little bit further on that north side, even use those loot crates to their advantage in terms of cover. Koa out in the open will have to break out on a quick run as Falcons make their exit, but he could potentially cut one of them down to size, but East knows already.
Play zone took it down there. It's just too tough of a tick. 7 stages in, and the blue zone just bites you so hard trying to make those moves. Falcons flexing out now. Furia have got so much oversight, but they're having to be pushed back as Tianba make a bid for the center of this circle. Furia's approach made a little bit harder. Tianba starting to stretch out. Falcons do get spotted though, and top goes down with 3 teams remaining. Keeping 4 players alive would be massively valuable, but it's just not going to happen there. Little cache of goodies on the corner for Tianba to pilfer through, but they have to head into the battlegrounds very, very soon. Out to the open, they put Bond as a forward outpost.
Yeah, it was a good pick-off as well, and some good sprays coming through from the rest of the team, because essentially the reason they want to back both these teams off is just to get Bond up, to create that anchor point for the rest of the team to drag themselves over towards. And now Falcons and Furia both in a tight spot up top side. East with a follow-up onto a great nade, which will at least knock one. But Tianba starting to break out from their position. They know they need to create conflict here, as they do not have the high ground and are forced to play these weird little divots down towards the south side of the map.
Tianba, 9 eliminations. Looking to follow TJB towards
12
the top
nades,
tables.
by the way.
Looking for 12 nades? Goodness me, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of ordnance then. These roll-ups, for anybody who tries to get close to them, is going to be so tough. A lot of those nades are because IWNRX just crashed straight on top of them, right? They gave them 4 full crates. They also picked through all of Getso Roy's, so they've had so much opportunity to get everything that they need. A perfect inventory layout. An optimal approach to this circle.
I don't know if it's optimal, because QZ has 12 nades and 80 bullets. But, you know, whatever works for him. And I mean, especially in a circle like this, there's no compounds. It's fully open terrain warfare. Maybe this is optimal for them right now, to have those 12 nades that he can just toss time and time again over towards them, because it is just going to be an onslaught of nades now coming through from QC. And here he goes.
looking to unleash, but Furia and Falcons have some of their own as well. Just because you're coming up against 12, you only need one to hit. There's 3, launch 1, 2, 3. They're not going to go quite the distance they needed. Falcons into the middle of the circle. Tiembo with their ridge line, they've been defending it for a while, but Icy has the shack. A shot over towards Artisan as well goes through, and East picks up a point for the Falcons. A big nade over the top, and that's QZ, of course it is, coming through to land that shot, and a spray down towards the backlines as Bond falls next. Icy is the last Falcon to stay alive. Trying to push towards the top 3 on these tables, but it's made all the harder by this constant bombardment, this barrage coming through from Tianba, and they just keep layering them down. This is why you only need 80 rounds in the back pocket, because all you need is just huge numbers of nades, and they can't move. It's the last stage.
Icy on the backside. Again, that little door there that's on the outside, kind of annoying for them to deal with, but they know they can get rid of Icy later on. I think they'd be best off throwing those nades over towards the right-hand side now that they know he's desperately not in the shack. Nice bounce off the top, though. If they can get 2 of those flowing through, that would be a knock-on towards Icy. He's only got 1 first aid kit remaining, but fully stimmed up here. Gusta takes a tumble and a second nade. Should about finish it unless Kowski can get him close, but no, it's not meant to be.
A very explosive way to close down this game for Tianba. Our last game of the day. They've only got 2 solos left to handle. Kowski again eats more shrapnel, and it's just explosion after explosion, blast after blast. And it's only Icy left to stand. He's on the inside of the shack now, but an aid in through the window. Of course it is. Under his feet. It's not even needed, because QZ finally pulls out the weapon and takes the fight through the sightlines there. And that is just so controlling of a way to finish it out. A lot of eliminations found. And Tianba, have they just made the top 3?
They will have climbed a lot, and they have been slowly reaching towards the top side of the lobby over the day. So very, very well done to Tianba. But again, it's a very good understanding of that terrain going forward for Tianba too, in terms of just being like, right, we don't really need bullets in this last zone. What we need is nades. I think they had a total of like 20 to 30 between them. But yeah, fantastic stuff. And once again, it is really even towards the top 6, John.
Absolutely brilliant stuff to close us down. Nade after nade pouring on in, and Tianba reap all the rewards they were looking for with the final chicken dinner of the day.
This is definitely proving to be the closest group yet in PMGC. Obviously, still 1 group left to go with Group Green, but my God, what could happen here? Any team could still go for top. Well, not any team. Most teams could still go for top 3 as we see.
IHC.
Or potentially just top 11. Insanely close across the board, but again, these 3 teams that did survive, another time we've seen Furia in like a top 3 situation. I feel like that's like almost 3-4 games in a row for them.
This is getting ridiculous. I feel like I need to go buy a lotto ticket or something, because I was like, yo, hey, I need to see something for Furia right now. I need to see something.
You said that about
Falcons.
Inco first week, man. Come on, like,
Hey,
you just got like this.
Hey, you know what? We're back, baby. Right? We're back. Because Falcons clutching out. Before this game, they were in 6th place, 117 points, right? With this performance here, that should definitely put them in that running for top 3. And then Tianba, I mean, they were on the 2nd page, 9th place with 85. This game is definitely going to put them in a good, solid spot. Tomorrow, they're going to have to go crazy if they want to make it a top 3. But you know what? It's a conversation now, right?
Yeah, I mean, before this game, Jason was saying, oh yeah, top 6 teams already competing for top 3. This game puts Tianba already in now the new top 6, which would be 7. The top 7 are going to be competing for the top 3 spots into the grand finals. Of course, it's going to be happening in London. So Tianba, great game. And the most important fight this game, just looking back, was clearly Roy, Getso Roy versus Tianba. That fight resulted in whoever won that engagement to be able to play that ridge that gave so many opportunities for Tianba to third-party Falcons versus the side of Furia, and just get all the information you would ever need to wrap up that game in style. So that fight, I respect Getso Roy for trying to go for the send it, because it could have been invaluable if they won it, but Tianba won it, and that ridge was just too OP at the end.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta talk about this fight too.
Oh, yes.
Right? Morbid with the 1v3 against Team Castle. That's gotta be brutal for them too. Hopefully they can kind of shake that off going into tomorrow. But man, yeah, that was a great play there from FaZe, trying to hang on. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to kind of make it, far into the game. But it's still good to see a little bit of sign of life for these squads. What a way to finish off the day, though, man. Tomorrow is gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah, I think Max said it perfectly, right? If you want to contest top 3, you need to have shown up here, and that's exactly what Tianba did to put themselves within reach tomorrow. But there's still 7 teams fighting for 3 slots. You just can't. You can't have all 7 go through. Either you're going to get through from here, or you have to go through in the survival stage, and then hope you can make it to last chance. Where then you have to get top 6 with the best teams. Well, I can't say the best teams in PMGC because the best teams are already qualified to the Grand Finals. But with the best teams that are left here in PMGC, it really does get easier from here on, especially with the mixing of groups and the styles they've played. Thinking back to Group Yellow, where it's very center play. Group Red's been more edge play. Who knows what Group Green's going to be? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's middle play. Something
in between the middle and the edge.
exactly. But it's getting tough times here for all these teams. And I mean, Fury, I'm curious to see where they're going to be on our overall leaderboard, because they've had so many top finishes. But last time we checked in, they moved up only 1 placing because they had so much work, so much catch up to do to even make any movement in our leaderboards.
Looking at the games here, especially Jason, when we're looking at how they're playing, it's not just, oh, we're going to play passive and try and get to the late game. They are taking really important fights. In this game in particular, Jukes, if we look back, that third party we saw happen from them onto the side of, I forgot which team it was. It was Virtus Pro and Na'Vi. That was the fight that allowed them to make it to top 3 in the first place. They are sending it so many matches in.
Max, 24 points. The next closest is 9.
That is a gap and a half.
Goodness gracious, dude. They needed it so bad, too. They needed it so bad if they even wanted a shot at top 3, and they did exactly what they needed to do here. 24 points. I mean, clutch badge earned, right? I guess I'll give it to them for now.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I feel like you got 2 for now. We'll see if it's true clutch when we get into tomorrow. Take a look down the list, though. I mean, Virtus Pro, that was one team Furia was able to leapfrog, though. I don't know if they're going to be able to maintain that leapfrog here. But even with Furia's, like, results with their late placings, I feel like they're not necessarily getting a ton of eliminations behind it, which means they don't make that big of movements in our leaderboards. It's looking on the list, though. You can see, I mean, FaZe, we saw the 4 eliminations they got before. Alter Ego with Rosemary coming back in, only netting themselves 1 elimination here. I'd hate to say it, Max, but with the way Alter Ego are playing, it looks like they're not going to make top 11 at this point. And then even IWNRX, who had a decent start to the day, started to fall off as the day went on.
It was a PL-like day. After looking at who won and who keep making it towards the end, IWNRX were completely overshadowed by the Chinese players. And QZ, I said it before going into this tournament, I tell you, man, QZ is an MVP potential for not only maybe this group, also for the entire tournament, even though, of course, we're looking at Z-Wolf, we're looking at Flower, they've really been standing out. But yeah, it's a rough time for those bottom squads like Alter Ego that I don't think they really know what to do right now, Jason, by putting Rosemary out and he's playing again, as you mentioned earlier. I think they're just trying to find something that works, but unfortunately in the pressure, that's really hard to find that kind of momentum, and they, as of right now, have not found it. Can they find in the last day? As of right now, I don't really think so, Jason. It's going to be tough.
Well, we can see our overalls, and Tianba with that 24-point match puts him at 109. So still a little bit off of getting into top 3, but very possible now. And even Falcons putting themselves 1 point away from getting through into top 3. But I mean, the spread between 3rd and 6th is 2 points.
It's crazy. 2
points. And honestly, Hot Jukes, what if tomorrow IWNRX is on the bubble and they have 0 chicken dinner, so they end losing out on top 3? It's very possible. Every team on this top 8 except Getsoroy has at least 1 chicken dinner except them.
It's unreal. It's unreal. When are they going to get that elusive chicken dinner? I have no idea. And it's so crazy because, I mean,
even if they get one, it doesn't matter.
If they get one, it doesn't matter. They need like 2 right now.
They got 4, 3, 2, 2 around them. Like, it's sure, like 1 chicken is great, but you're going to need more than 1 if you wanted to win the tiebreaker. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, this is ridiculous. This scoreboard. I mean, I just can stay here all day long and talk about it because I mean, yeah, you mentioned it. Just a few points away from 3rd to 6th. Anybody can make it into top 3, but I have to say it before we go for sure. TJB, dude. I mean, what a performance today. These guys, before the day started, where they have like 70 points, that means they doubled their entire score in one day after playing 2 days worth of matches. That's insane.
Oh my. Well, what's also insane, 88, 87, 86, 85, 83. Like,
dude, TJB scored more points today than IHC has done this whole tournament so far.
Okay, man, you don't have to do them like that. It's true.
I mean, that's how wild it is.
But it's going to be tough tomorrow because I'm happy I'm not Trin Blank because they're going to have to keep tabs of, oh, who's going to be racing for top 3? Well, wait, it's also super close for the teams trying to make in top 11 to make it to survival. it's going to be all over the place tomorrow. You could have so many storylines. Could just, yeah, keeping tabs on stuff is going to be rough going into tomorrow's matches. But you know what? There's still some room for these bottom squads to make it up there. It is not an impossible gap to close. It's definitely super close, as you said, 88, 87, 86, and even closer below. So tomorrow is going to be Hail Mary for a lot of these bottom teams. East? Oh.
What?
It was that grenade. It was that grenade on Miramar.
How is that? How is it not
right?
a TJB player?
Yeah, how
There's
is it
no
not
way.
a TJB?
There's no way. These guys average 10 eliminations a game. That's crazy. I don't know.
Maybe he was picking up all the elims.
Yeah, shout out to East though. Yeah.
Good job, East. But very surprising, yeah. Like what? Even the survival time is really high, 21 minutes. Average damage 500 a game. That is really good. These are MVP stats, but you know what? He flew under the radar. We were looking at TJB, looking at Chumba, the improvement of Furia. We were looking to the west, yeah. We were like completely looking the wrong direction, and he just flew under the radar and like, I am MVP today. And good job. You know what? GG. Respect.
I mean, look at his average damage. He has the highest average damage in the lobby, which is kind of insane in its own right. But not to mention assists. It's all about working together. And the PUBG Mobile X Venom, the Last Dance collaboration, which is available right now, where you guys can experience a unique gameplay adventure. Discover the Black Symbiote clusters in Erangel, Sandhawk, Miramar, and Livik to obtain the Black Symbiote arm and encounter Black Symbiote warhorses. You can equip the Black Symbiote arm to move rapidly by aiming at fixed targets, pull immobile targets like players or airdrops, and launch yourself with slingshot-like moves. Gear up and harness Venom's power in PUBG Mobile, bond with the Symbiote, and become the ultimate duo in PUBG Mobile now. You can play the game, and more importantly, watch the movie. And we can see 676, he's going to be the man that we were talking about when it comes to assists with his team, not to mention pulling off 1v2s as well on top of that against your boy, Tixie Maxman.
Why you gotta? That was at the start of the day, Jason. That's old news. Okay, you've already broken my heart once by reminding me. But it's really funny that actually Z-Wolf is up there, despite being one of the top fraggers. He's also top assist. He's the whole package right now. Okay, Z-Wolf is just a threat. But cool to see Cole go up there too, Jukes. He's the man. You know, from the Americas. Let's go.
Yep, take it. We'll take that all day long. Good to see at least one of the Americas teams up here, man. But I mean, this has just been, and it's just so brutal. I mean, all I know is that if I was in a group, I would definitely not want to be in this one, because it's just, tomorrow's crazy, dude. I mean, I would be not surprised if we see a team make it into top 3 that we had no clue, like we did not expect at all.
I agree.
Max, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I was just looking at Redox. He's staring in the camera again, and I'm scared.
No. Don't look at his eyes, because if you look at his eyes, you can't look
my
away.
soul!
And you're...
No.
Well, let's be fair, Max. You already sold your soul to One Piece.
But
But
Hey, worth it.
We're here for a quick little chat. We do have 7 down on the stage with an interview. Who it's gonna be? It's gonna be a surprise.
Camera again, and I'm scared.
No. Don't look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. And you're...
No.
Well, let's
Welcome back as we finish the day number 3 of Grup Red, and I'm joined alongside 2 great coaches here, Nick McGalaxy, Peko, and IWNRX Bluffus. I'm just going to start off with you. What are you guys going to be doing tomorrow to make sure that you maintain yourself within the top 3?
First, in last 2 or 3 tournaments, we had final day issues. We couldn't perform well in last days, but we tried to fix this. We trained, and I hope we can get the London ticket in this stage. We will see.
Right on. Well, hey, you told me last time it was all about the mentality. Hopefully, you guys got that narrowed down. Now, Peko, you guys are currently outside of the top 3. Last time we talked about this, you guys were in first place. So, what are you guys going to be doing to make sure you actually get to that top 3? What's going to be the biggest challenge?
It's going to be tough. I mean, the pressure is on top and everything. So tomorrow we're just going to go and play as usual. We're probably going to get a little bit lucky than today, because the zones weren't really that good for us. We still got some points. I mean, the top 6 teams of the leaderboard are fighting for the London tickets, and it's going to be tough, obviously. So yeah, tomorrow we'll just give it everything, and yeah.
You mentioned it, the top 6 teams are going to be fighting for that direct ticket to the Grand Finals in London. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for the final day of Grup Red, and let us know in the comments, who do you think is going to make it out of these 2 guys here? Which team are going to make it? Back to you guys.
And it's going to be tough, obviously. So yeah, tomorrow we'll just give it everything.
You mentioned it, the top 6 teams are going to be fighting for that of these two guys here, which team are going to make it?
The viewers are going to make it 7 because they don't have to compete to try to get into PMGC Grand Finals. They can just click a stream and watch it, or they could even buy tickets and watch it live. We still have tickets available from the 6th to 8th over in December in the UK, in London, where you can watch the finals and see who will take the title of Best in Show this year. The best of the best, and honestly, you're not going to want to miss it. Not to mention, you get to participate in some activities. We'll be there. You can potentially meet some of the fans, the players, and potentially meet some talent as well. And maybe, just maybe, there'll be an Infinix GT20 Pro giveaway during PMGC. I don't know. It could be possible. It could be Maxman's phone that we're going to be giving away.
No, that's mine. Get your own.
Well, you know, other people, Max, want to learn to play like the pros. You're already playing Ultimate Royale. I still don't even rank high enough to be able to participate in that. So maybe I need to pick up another one.
Pick up another one.
Good.
Well, it is hard to get good when Neptune just body slams you and eliminates you in the game on your own team because she decides to not rank you. And we don't have Hot Jukes carrying us like when we were in Saudi Arabia doing PMWC, laying down on the ground, picking up like 24 eliminations. This man went crazy.
Once again, dude, it will happen. Trust me, dude. I am ready. I got my backpack on. I'll carry you guys any day.
Well, I mean, that backpack's meant for 7 because he can fit in a backpack. But gentlemen, what's your quick little recap of the day before we end things off?
Dude, I don't know, man. I mean, tomorrow's gonna be wild. I mean, I wish I could just pull up my analyst hat and be like, this team's gonna make it for sure. But I truly have no clue. I mean, anything can happen for sure.
Yeah, everyone loves a good comeback story. I'm gonna say, Furia, keep on going the way you're doing, and you might just make it to the survival stage. Yeah, good job, Furia, for today. That was a good little comeback.
You heard it here first. Maxman saying Fury's gonna qualify top 3.
I mean, I wish I could just pull up my analyst hat and be like, this team's gonna make it for sure. But I truly have no clue. I mean, anything can happen for sure.